The Atlanta Falcons injuries were probably the most important, most significant thing that happened, but we did get to see our first glimpse of Michael Penix in week 1 of the preseason. And I thought, all things considered, he looked about, it maybe not the best performance, but he did everything that you wanted. He has a great arm. He seemed poised. He seemed confident. He didn't make any big mistakes. We didn't get to see a ton of them. Hopefully we get to see more of them throughout the rest of this preseason and week and 2 and 3. But I thought first glimpse, I don't really have anything negative that I could say.
Yeah, if you have anything he is exactly what he was at Washington. And if you're talking about a transition from college to pros, that's a great thing because at Washington, he trusts his arm. He's not going to be afraid. He sees it. He's going to throw it. He throws a very catchable ball, but he's inaccurate at times. And that you saw that at Washington. You saw that in the national championship against Michigan. He was extremely inaccurate. But then you saw other moments where you're like, damn, that arm is special. He is the most physically gifted thrower the Falcons have maybe ever had. Now, people can argue Michael Vick just had all that crazy arm talent, and, Michael Vick gives him a run, Penix, that is, for his money. But and this is no slight to Matt Ryan, who is infinitely a better quarterback than both of those guys, obviously. But in terms of just a physical aspect, Michael Penix's arm is insane. And all I could think about, even in the misses, is like when he's throwing to guys like Kyle Pitts and Drake London who can make, quarterbacks look better than they are, make up for some of those throws that aren't exactly where they need to be. Michael Penix is going to be really, really, really fun to watch. I already want to see him play real football. And this is the issue with signing Kirk Cousins and then drafting a guy like Michael Penix.
I think everybody that watched that preseason game probably came away with that preseason game like, listen,
I want to see him with Bijan Robinson, first-team offense.
Kirk Cousins is fun, but, I'm ready to see Michael Penix already lead this offense. And I understand that might not lead to more wins, but frankly, I don't really care.
I don't care.
The time where the Falcons are really going to win a Super Bowl is with Michael Penix, not with Kirk Cousins. Especially with the injuries that we just suffered and the way this defense looks. I think we all understand that. So, let's rip the Band-Aid off. And unfortunately, it's a $50 million Band-Aid, right? So it's not just, but you listen, it's not just us sitting here saying this or Falcons fans who are just saying, you see Daniel Jeremiah, you see, Kurt Benkert. I know some Falcons fans don't love him, but a lot of guys that know the game at a much higher level were very, very impressed. I think Orlovsky tweeted that he looked very, very good. So it was exciting to see. Now, learning under Kirk Cousins, I think it's only going to do him better. Yeah. And I've heard people say that are really high on Michael Penix that it could be that kind of Mahomes-like transition. Now, I don't want to say it's going to be as good, but he could be the thing that after a year takes this offense to the next level. We're good this year, and then he takes it to the next level, and it could be good. But as a selfish fan, we're ready to see Michael Penix go. Even taking the lumps and stuff like that, we're ready to see it. But it could be Kirk Cousins is kind of your Alex Smith kind of guy. He gets you to the postseason, but you're not quite there. And Penix is the guy that says, hey, look at these weapons. Maybe they get even better. Another good wide receiver we could probably use. And all of a sudden this offense is unstoppable. That's the hope, right? Yeah. But selfishly, we're ready to see it.
From where I sit, Kirk Cousins is going to give you, quality, consistent play. And though Michael Penix may be sporadic at times, the heights, he can make throws that Kirk Cousins couldn't dream of. And that's
only a few people.
That's a physical thing. We're Alex Smith was a great quarterback for Andy Reid and the Chiefs, or a good quarterback, But Patrick Mahomes elevates it because of his ability to throw off script, do things that very few guys in this league, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, those kinds of guys who just were born with it. Michael Penix can do that stuff. Now, obviously, there's a lot, there's 80% in the middle that he's got to, hammer down and refine. And that's why Kirk Cousins is obviously heads and shoulders better than Michael Penix is as currently constructed them to. But I'm selfish, and I like big plays. I like home runs. I like top 10 plays. I like slam dunks. And Michael Penix is fun. He completed 9 passes, and I was like, all right, I don't really care. I don't even care about this season. I want to see Penix play.
Yeah, and we say it all the time, or I say it all the time, or you'll hear it all the time. quarterback in this football league is 90% above the neck. It's about what you bring from the field, from an intangible perspective, from the mental side of the game, knowing defenses, reading defense, all that stuff. He's going to have to catch up. But the 10% we know he has. The physical ability, like he has maxed out on that 10%. Now there's 90%. There's
a lot of other stuff.
There's 90% of the rest of the game he's going to have to conquer if he wants to reach the heights of all the guys that we just named. But that 10% is the difference between a Kirk Cousins and a Patrick Mahomes. He has that full 10%, where you could say Kirk Cousins might have like 1% of that. So that
might be generous.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins is the most average physical guy that's ever succeeded in the NFL. Like literally,
Matt Ryan, I think, was up there too.
I mean, Matt Ryan's arm was way better than at his peak. Obviously, I was way better than Kirk Cousins.
Matt Ryan always just had a weird throwing motion to me. I think there was something about
Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins. You know what they say? You know, it's like some white guy Orlovsky who's trying to talk up Kirk Cousins. He throws a real catchable ball. It's like, that's just code for he's got a weak arm, but he makes all the right decisions.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, but I think we're all here. I'm ready for
this Saturday.
I'm ready for more Michael Penix and a lot more. Keep throwing him out there, Raheem Morris. We want to see it.